Okay, hi everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you are doing well, and it's time for yet another one of these tier lists going over Billboard's top 10 songs of a given year. We are going through the 2010s currently, and right now we are hitting the delicious, wonderful, beautiful year that is known as 2012. First on the chopping block, we have the Wee Lads from Wembley. That's what makes it beautiful. I'll say this. For a boy band track, it's not that bad. Production has these cute little raw teeny bopper guitars and drums. The vocals have some pretty nice definition to them. Is the chorus maybe a little too pumped up? Yes. Are the lyrics really pandering? Are there moments where I'm kind of raising an eyebrow like, you don't know you're beautiful? That's what makes you beautiful. Why would that? Yeah, very much a flirty, I'm having a big old, fat old boy band crush on you type song. There's way worse songs in this lane, in this genre. Sometimes very ugly and problematic ones, and horribly produced ones as well. This one, while it's not mind blowing, it's it's not Backstreet's Back. It's not I Want It That Way. I'll say this one's okay. It's harmless fun. It's harmless fun. It's bopping. It's catchy. It's snappy. Harmless boy band fun. I would put this in the C row. Handily. It's not bad. It's not obnoxious. It's kind of cute and tolerable, and I feel like that's the best thing that a boy band can be. And that's no shade to Brockhampton. Okay, following this, we have Nicki Minaj's Starships. This is a very gaudy piece of dance pop from Miss Minaj. I sort of understand why she would drop another song like this, given how huge and popular Super Bass was. Why not double down on the zaniness? Why not double down on the cheekiness? Why not double down on the Y2K dance pop aesthetics? I'll say this, despite Nicki being as talented a rapper as she is, I think a lot of her rhymes and her flows and her delivery on the whole front end of the song pretty annoying, pretty obnoxious. I feel like it's aged like milk. However, the drop on this track is handily one of the most insane drops I've ever heard in any mainstream pop or rap artist single. It still stands today as like really one of the nuttiest drops in any song in this lane. And I do kind of respect it in that way. While it is like, again, doing too much and it is like trying too hard, it does end up in a place that is borderline insane. And I kind of respect it for that, honestly, a little bit. I would put this in the C row. It's madness, maybe a bit too much madness in some ways, but really the kind of madness that I can't look away from. All right, following this, we have Rihanna, We Found Love. Calvin Harris in the mix as well on this track. What can really be added about this song in terms of like what's already been said about it and just its like, kind of general build and flavor? I mean, the magic of this track, the appeal of this track, what makes it work is really just how cut, dry, and direct it is. I mean, it's like a typical dance pop formula, soaring vocals, driving beats, really bright synthesizers. Yeah, and just like killer hook all around as well. Good vocal performance from Rihanna. Yeah, I would put this handily in the B row. It's good, it's groovy, it's enjoyable. It's a very good Rihanna song. Okay, next over here we have Miss Kelly Clarkson with Stronger. Not really crazy about this track. I mean, is it competently produced and sung? Yes, you could say that. By that same token, this is really just like a pop chart motivational poster. There's not really a whole lot of soul or detail to it, in my opinion. This is like really a wine mom karaoke jam, parading as something for the kids. But yeah, it's really just like something for the moms to jam to over the PA at the sports bar after a few drinks. Not the most horrible thing I've heard ever, but definitely tacky, definitely lacking in seasoning, definitely lacking in anything truly fun or interesting. I would put this in the D column over its lack of excitement and just generally bland vibe. Coming up next, we have The Wanted with Glad You Came. Do you guys remember The Wanted? They were pretty much the One Direction that didn't One Direction. Thinking of them now and how this track is like, you know, handily their best song by like miles and miles and miles and miles. And then also thinking of the quality of this track, the poor quality of this track, frankly, and just how freaking dated it is. I mean, I know these guys were, you know, a young boy band, obviously, in the early 2010s, but like their sound just felt so behind the curve, whereas One Direction were at least coming with something a little fresh, because on this one, the vocals are pretty run-of-the-mill, certainly more run-of-the-mill than what we were getting on the One Direction debut. We have these like really old kind of Euro pop, Euro dance synthesizers flying in, which like, come on guys, like this is not Night at the Roxbury. This era is over. This era is done with. The beat on this one is something that Pitbull would typically be on top of. They did have a hit here. They did have a hit with some obviously creepy wink and a nod vibes with the whole, I'm glad you came. I'm glad you came. The writing was really on the wall for dance pop in this style. It wasn't going to last forever. It wasn't going to dominate the rest of the decade. I feel like this is like one of the dying breaths of, you know, something exactly in this more Y2K kind of vein. Feeling an E on this track. It's a big skip, would rather avoid it entirely. All right, moving on from here, we have Miss Ellie Goulding. I don't think you could really call me much of an Ellie Goulding fan, truly and honestly, but is this track a bop? Yes, it most certainly is. The percussion is great. The bass is fantastic. The chorus explodes brightly and is really well mixed, and you know, generally melodically it's pretty sharp. The vocal performance does feel a little run of the mill, that is true, but the song is there, the production is there, and I feel like that really kind of closes up the gaps for the most part. Plus, I think the really clear and overt disco influences on this track are embodied really creatively, puts a nice modern spin on that. It's catchy, it's tasteful, it's well put together, it's a good pop tune all around. Nothing really wrong about this track, but nothing mind-blowing about it either. You know what I mean? I would put it pretty solidly in the B section, most certainly deserving of the praise that it has received in the chart positions that it's received, but you know, maybe not aging as boldly or as memorably as some other tracks in this list that we will talk about. Not to insinuate that I was talking about this next song, Maroon 5, Payphone, featuring Wiz Khalifa. This track is so soulless and boring and painfully mid that it's not even worth sticking around for the Wiz Khalifa feature. Look, I'll say this, the rock instrumentation on this track doesn't even sound like rock instrumentation. It sounds like something off of the most airbrushed Coldplay song ever. On top of that, Adam Levine's vocals continue to have this really artificial butteriness that I absolutely cannot stand, and I just think aesthetically is gross, gross, gross. And on top of it, the damn song ain't even that catchy, especially when you compare it to other Maroon 5 tracks. It's not even as catchy as Moves Like Jagger from the previous year. Pretty awful. Definitely a big fat skip. I'm going to put this one in the E row as well. We are young. Next, let's talk about a track that is sure to get some feelings stirring and some conversation going. The fun song, We Are Young. I have really mixed feelings on this track. When we're talking songwriting, when we're talking chorus quality, when we're talking song structure, we're like at A, S tier on this track. We're A, S tier on this track. When we're talking performance and when we're talking production, we're honestly like D, E tier. The distorted bass engulfs the entire fucking mix. The snare sounds like ass and is like really extended, hits like a weird ass hiss or something, like it's coming off an industrial song. The vocals are maybe a bit too yelpy and fall short of where I feel like they need to be at points. And on top of it, we have a Janelle Monáe feature that we can't even fucking hear Like, I mean, obviously her voice is in there, in the mix, in the chaos, but really, like, it barely qualifies as a feature. The pianos are buried as hell on the track. It just sounds awful. Like, this is the way you mix and produce a song when you think that nobody is going to hear it. It's like they were assembling a sandwich they knew they were going to throw away, yet it ended up being one of the most popular sandwiches of the year. Again, with that being said, the chorus on this track is stellar. The song at the core of all of it is fantastic. Really does kind of go to show that as long as the song is there, you can pretty much decorate it however the fuck you want, and it's going to take off. Because even with this thing sounding as mediocre as it is aesthetically, I still sing that fucking chorus when it's on. Okay, we have a couple more. This next one is Carly Rae Jepsen, Call Me Maybe S. Let's take it up the S and the A row. That is how big and fat of a W this song is. Amazing pop tune. One of the best pop tunes of the 2010s. Just the strings, the beat, the flirty, fun vocals, the verses as engaging as the choruses. One of the best choruses, one of the most memorable choruses in pop history of pop ever. This is the kind of single that for a while people just looked at Carly Rae Jepsen and was just like, yeah, you know, she's not like an artist. She's just like the Call Me Maybe girl, and that's it. It's just kind of the one-hit wonder thing and da-da-da-da-da. But Carly went on to impress and surprise the critics and the naysayers by coming out with some legitimately great pop music past this point and sort of continuing her career with grace, with poise, with artistic integrity. And while sure the Call Me Maybe days may be gone and falling further into the past with every passing year, this song still does continue to rule, does continue to age like fine wine. And yeah, it's just absolutely amazing, fantastic, deserving of its place in the pop pantheon. Just well written, produced, performed, everything that you could want out of a pop song. That is this fucking song. And we are rounding out this video with another fire track, frankly, Gautier. This as well is one of the best pop songs of all time. I mean, you know, you could talk about its Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins influences and everything like that. Maybe it's a tad bit derivative, but the melody is great. The vocal chemistry between him and Kimbra, fantastic. The production, the instrumentation is dynamic and textured and beautiful. I think this track as well is like worthy of a big fat like parking spot in the S and the A section. Like, you know, 2012, blessed year. Much of what I said about the Carly track also applies to this. Like everything that you could want out of a pop song is here. But in the case of the Gautier track, a little bit extra. There's a lot of classic and fantastic duets across the history of pop music. And this is most definitely, unquestionably one of them. Gautier, if you're hearing this, please come back. Drop another banger as good as this one. We would all love that. Please, it's been 10 years. But yeah, that's my tier list. Let me know your tier list or any other songs from this year that you loved or you miss. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it greatly. You're the best. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, 2012, forever.